Putting point of destination in. Check.
Check, check.
Breakfast on the go.
Chocks away. Toulouse Lautrec. Bonjour. Bonjour Toulouse. Ça va?
I'm coming back to basics, really. A few weeks ago, I talked about some changes I was making to do with changing my diet, changing my eating habits, letting go of some bad, unhealthy things that I was doing, and also recreating my physical space to make it into a space that was going to be healthier for me as well. So I guess looking at my health on the things I can control, countering that in a sense with the fact that the world feels really chaotic and overwhelming right now. So I guess this video is about me finding ways to keep my light shining bright, even though the world feels bonkers and chaotic and overwhelming. These are the ways I counter that, if you like. So let's go on an artist's date, shall we, to an exhibition I've been wanting to come and see for a long time now. Toulouse Lautrec and the Masters of Monmartre at the Victoria Art Gallery, Bath. This is actually the last chance to get to see the complete collection of Lautrec posters in the UK before they are permanently displayed at the Musée de l'Excels, I don't know if I'm saying that right, in Brussels, Belgium. Important to note too, these are not reproductions, but actual posters rescued and preserved from the time. The Art Nouveau-inspired posters bring the sights and smells of the turn-of-the-century Paris boldly to life and include the very first poster Toulouse made of the Moulin Rouge, which made him an overnight success. It was cutting edge at the time and also made the art of the poster popular, upping its status from a mere advertisement to a piece of fine art. This in turn inspired other artists of the time to do the same. His work was well known for its provocative humour, yet sensitive approach, which told the unglamorous underbelly stories of Paris's colourful nightlife. Although he was born an aristocrat, Marie Raymond de Toulouse-Lautrec Monfort, he also had a congenital disability, and he stopped growing at 5 foot tall. This made him always feel like an outsider, so when he arrived in Paris in 1882, he became quickly comfortable within the more disreputable urban nightlife. In fact, the more disreputable, the more he liked it. He affectionately became known as the coffee pot, and the characters became like family to him and felt able to trust him. He developed a close circle of friends with many of the dancers, cabaret performers, prostitutes and circus performers. His posters made famous the entertainers of the time, such as Yvette Gilbert, Louis Fuller, and his close friend Jane Avril. The exhibition also includes other artists, including Steinland's iconic Tournée de Chat Noir, and an advert for Ruinart Champagne by Alphonse Mucha, and the theatre posters by Jules Chiret. Suffice to say, we had an absolute ball and absolutely loved it. I hadn't seen so many works by Toulouse Lautrec since I last visited Paris and went to the Musée d'Orsay. We must have wandered round at least 3 or 4 times, especially noting the layers of storytelling, humour and hidden details within the artworks. If by any chance you happen to live nearby, I thoroughly recommend going to have a visit before the exhibition closes at the end of September. Going on an artist date is a wonderful way to nurture your creativity and find inspiration. But of course, you don't have to be an artist to go on an artist date. We could in fact just call it a date with inspiration. And here are some other ways you might get inspired. Definitely a visit to your local gallery or museum. Just surrounding yourself with other artists' work, colours, techniques, and the stories behind the pieces can spark new ideas and perspectives. Another date with inspiration could be exploring nature. A walk in the park, a hike, or sitting under a tree or by a river can lead to fresh ideas and a sense of peace. And as an artist, nature is full of patterns, colours, textures that can ignite the creative senses. Something I haven't done for a long time but actually plan to do quite soon is to attend a workshop or a class. We always have more to learn. A new skill or technique in a hands-on environment can give you tools to explore new creative avenues. It expands our own skill sets and gives us more tools in our own toolboxes. Being with other creators is also inspiring and can reignite our passion. Something else I love to do is visit a cafe and people watch. I love observing the world around in a bustling kind of environment. And I love to draw figures and faces, make up characters and storylines. And it can just be a refreshing change of pace. As an artist, sketching from life or writing while people watching, it can lead to unexpected outcomes and creativity. Another thing that's really fun to do is to go on a photo walk. So capture everyday scenes from different angles can help you see the world from all perspectives. It's really inspiring looking through the lens, and it encourages you to notice the little details that you might otherwise miss. You can store these on an album on your phone or print them out, and they might even feed into a new project. Browsing around a bookstore or a library and surrounding yourself with literature, art books, or just perusing the shelves can lead to new ideas. It's great inspiration, and you might stumble on a phrase, an image, or an idea that sparks a whole new project. Something I've mentioned before but I think is really worth mentioning again is to try a new craft or hobby, or even something that you used to enjoy but you don't feel you've got the time for anymore. So for me in this case, I'm going to start crocheting again. And I think experimenting with a craft that you've not tried before or not for ages can open up new creative channels. It's also very therapeutic for the brain, mental health and well-being. It sets off all those good hormones and neurotransmitters. And even if something feels a little bit scary at first, stepping completely out of your comfort zone often leads to exciting breakthroughs. That's where the magic can happen, isn't it? If you've been around here a while, you will know I love to journal, and so one idea here I've thought of was to journal in a new environment. Writing down thoughts, ideas, and just stream of conscious writing in a different setting can trigger new inspirations. I think anyway, a change of scenery often leads to a change of perspective. We can easily feel overwhelmed by life and suffocated sometimes by everything that we've got to do. By withdrawing from our usual environments, we can zoom out on our life, and it helps us to see things differently. Something else I don't do very often but I absolutely love is to go to a live performance. Engaging with live art, like music, theatre, poetry, can energise our creative flow. Afterwards, I always come home with an energy and creative buzz that can last for a few days or even longer. And the last idea is something I talk about quite a lot, which is the art of play. So reconnect with your inner child. Doing something playful, like visiting a park, colouring, or building something. Playing with your children or grandchildren, it can reignite that sense of awe and wonder. Embracing that playfulness can unlock a more spontaneous and joyful creativity.
Wow, I'll probably kill it though.
Which is the perfect antidote to feeling the fear of the blank page or blank canvas. And we all know that one, don't we?
Isn't that lovely?
And if you needed a gentle reminder, which I think we all sometimes do, then let this be just that. We all deserve to feed our creative spirit, don't we?
So lovely, aren't they? The little bottles.
Maybe it's time to explore, discover, and let your imagination roam freely. If you haven't done it for a while, or maybe you just need to do it more regularly. Yes.
Anything that catching your eye, bathroom plants. Yeah, we should, shouldn't we? Which I like these. What are those?
Insane.
That's pretty. Oh, so cute. That's okay. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Sweet that she's done that. Dinner. And then dinner. Yes.
I've been in the studio a couple of hours and I have been sitting, pondering, and I haven't actually been pondering on either sorting my room out, continuing with that, or making art. It's been more of an introspective pondering on life and the world. And we can try to compartmentalise things, which does help simplify and organise. That's a good thing for sure. But at the end of the day, we are our holistic selves. We are made up of all sorts of different thoughts and experiences and perspectives, because our own perspective can be completely different from someone else that experienced exactly the same thing, can't it? So I think as I am getting older, I am feeling a lot more confident with, I guess, my instincts and my intuition and an inner knowing, if you like. And I mentioned a few weeks ago about how I felt like the world was different these days. I really do think it feels different. And that kind of feels inconvenient for me, if I'm really honest, because I didn't want things to feel different. I certainly didn't want a lot of the way the world feels right now to feel that way. So it hasn't changed necessarily in a good way, but at the same time I also know that, you know, if we focus on those things, maybe the things that are on the news all the time or on social media all the time, then our focus and our energy is on those things, and I don't want that either. So while I acknowledge things might be happening over there, I think it becomes even more important to put good vibes out, especially in the darker times, if that makes sense. I put a post up on Facebook and Instagram this week to share a bit of positivity, if you like, because I feel like the more positivity we can put out, the better we make the world. And we do have an impact. It's not just about, you know, the thoughts in our head. For example, we're all electrical, we're all energetic, and our thoughts have energy as well, our words, our thoughts, and we can put that out into the world, can't we? I'm always saying try to keep your light shining bright, because if we do that, someone else can catch a spark from your light and it's not going to dim your light in any way. It's a win-win, and I love those. I think the more win-wins we can make and facilitate and encourage, the better, especially right now. You know, by that same token as well, we get to choose what we put our energy into and onto, where we shine our own lights onto as well. So where our attention and energy goes is really, really important as well. So I think one important lesson I learned years ago through journaling was, most of the time the most important healing and the magic happens, the transformations happen when you are feeling really, really low. So if you sit with it and look at it and don't just hide away for it and try to numb out all the time and things like that, and don't get me wrong, I understand the logic of that as well. I often do it myself. I numb out on a movie, or I sometimes need to hibernate or cocoon or stay at home, that kind of thing. Definitely a couple of years ago I would get a bottle of wine and, you know, sit in the evening and have a bottle of wine and a movie, and that was a lovely way to numb out. Thank you very much. I have quit alcohol for now, and so that layer of softness, of rounding the edges, if you like, blurring the world a little bit, has come off. And, you know, at the beginning that was quite difficult to acknowledge in a lot of ways. But I think if we sit with it, not necessarily wallowing in it, although sometimes we need to, I think that's where we find our own strengths, don't we? Within that darkness we can see our own lights sparkle a little bit, is what I'm trying to say. What do they say? The stars shine the brightest in the darkest of skies, don't they? I think there's a quote around that somewhere. And even in the world that feels like really chaotic right now, in, you know, quite a lot of it might feel quite chaotic, we always have time to take a breath, don't we? And that time to take a breath can change everything. We can literally flip things around in that moment, can't we? I read a book a few years ago called A Stroke of Insight. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. This neurosurgeon, I think she was a neurosurgeon or neuroscientist, she had a stroke, and she talked about the whole process and experience of it, and her story really spoke to me and really stayed with me. And I think within the last chapter, or even the last few pages, she was putting, you know, how literally a little shift in your thought can literally shift and change everything all around in a moment. It doesn't have to take, you know, months and months, years and years of therapy or anything like that. You can literally shift that within your own brain. Anyway, it was a really interesting book, and if you haven't read it, I do recommend it. If I'm feeling low or feeling dark or feeling everything's overwhelming, I think one of the things we can do that's really helpful is to do or say something nice to someone else. Yeah, do someone a favour and then don't tell them. And for me, of course, I come in here and I do something creative, because even if you do something creative and it doesn't turn out very good, that's irrelevant. It's not about the outcomes, it's about the process of creating. We are creative beings. We are meant to be creative, and it doesn't have to be artwork. It can be cooking, sewing, knitting, writing, singing, dancing, moving our bodies, creating a beautiful space in a room, interior decorating, that kind of thing. It can be flower arranging, the art of the bonsai tree.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover, agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover, agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all. A bigger scale, the world inhales as we go. I wouldn't want it any other way, no. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover, agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy,
But it's the actual act of being created that triggers off all those good neurochemicals in the brain that literally change the way we feel. It changes the chemistry in our brains. We can smile at someone, that also triggers the good chemicals. Eat some chocolate. And if we haven't got someone to smile at, then we should smile at ourselves in the mirror and say something encouraging to ourselves. Perhaps we should do that as a practice every single morning. When I felt really low, I used to have a set of post-its and I'd write positive thoughts and affirmations on them and then stick them all around the mirror so I could read them in the morning. And I think as well, even on those darker days where we do feel low, we can always find something to celebrate within ourselves, can't we? A gratitude. And we should definitely write that down in our journal. What we're celebrating, what we're grateful for. This has also been scientifically proven, hasn't it, to benefit our mental and even our physical well-being. As I get older and older, I also realise, which is a really positive thought, is that it's never too late to change. And so it's never too late to become better, make improvements to the environment, to become better inspired, to become brighter. And then we can shine our light, confident that we're doing something positive. This becomes a cycle and a circle of love because we feel good for doing it. And so that fills our cups even more with energy to shine even brighter and to keep doing. As long as we remember to rest in between, to recharge if we need to. The act of showing up to shine and do your best, even if it's a teeny tiny twinkle, makes us feel better. So I thought I would do a shopping haul thing. I didn't buy loads, but I thought it was kind of fun to show what I did buy from Bath the day I went out to the exhibition. And you've probably seen James got me a skirt, which I've basically been living in. I love it so much, but it's just really pretty, patchworky. It's not that I haven't seen one like this before, but it was this particular one that I really, really loved. So he treated me to that, which was very nice. A most welcome gift, yes. He's definitely a keeper, you see. And then I also got a bag of stuff from, I'll try not to crackle too much. Let's do the crackling bit first. Got a bag of stuff from the market. It's like an indoor market. And I haven't been for years and years and years. I mentioned earlier on in the video about hobbies, and I said I was going to start crocheting again. And so with that in mind, I got some yarn, and this isn't 100% wool. It's actually, see if I've got some reading glasses up here, old reading glasses. You might remember these if you've been around here a while, but I can kind of see. 40% wool. So, but I really love the colours. I've got like a cream, and then this one's got other colours in it, red and blue in it. It's really pretty. And then I've also got another flecked one, this greeny colour. So I thought the three together would make some really nice, I was going to do some like fingerless gloves, hand warmers, wrist warmers, that kind of thing. Start off with something quite simple. And I also got, to go with the crocheting, a 5mm bamboo crochet hook, and I got a chunky one. What size is that one? That one is a US size 13 or a 9mm. And then I also bought a few meters of this lace to put round, I don't know, something. I'll show you what I do if I do anything with it. Just a couple of other things as well, nothing amazingly interesting, but some pins. These are quite long ones, so kind of long pins. 2 of those, and then what else did I buy? Last thing was just some elastic, which always comes in handy, and I've run out. So as well as that, I also got, I'm going to have to take you downstairs to show you the plants. So let's go downstairs and I will, yes. So this is the rug. I put it down on my living room floor because I wanted to sort of stretch it out, and it's got some creases in it, so I'm just kind of stretching it out a little bit, and I wanted to have a look at it, but I'm not going to leave it in here. I'm actually going to put it in the sunroom in the conservatory. And you might have seen the video about, I don't know, a few months ago, 6 months ago even, where I set up my home studio in the conservatory, which isn't there at the minute because, well, that's a whole other story. And then I will also show you my plant babies as well, because in case anyone is wondering what kind of plants I ended up buying. So I've just actually been out to another little town, not Bath, somewhere else, about an hour away in the other direction. And I got these cute little knobs, and they're a little bit like bird's eggs, I thought. And I've got a little cupboardy just there, which is, yeah, needs some knobs. So anyway, to the plants. So the first one I got, which I fell in love with, was, I think it was this one actually, the one that actually needs a little bit more care and attention and shade. And it is, if I can just, it's a tropical prayer plant, a Burrell Marksy. I can barely read the lady's writing actually. I don't know whether it says Nancy. Likes to have indirect light but mist twice a week. Wipe if the leaves are dusty, fertilise in the spring. So isn't that cute? So I think I'm going to put that because it liked the mist. We kind of were looking at bathroom plants. So just a few little pretties, and I really like the pot as well. With that one, that pot was, I think it was £4 for the pot, but I really loved it. So that's that one. This one is a Syndapsus pictus, a silver vine, loves humidity, mist twice a week, let dry out between watering, and likes indirect light. And this little one is a little trailing, so it's going to sort of be a little hanging one. And this one says it's a Peperomia rotunfolia, Bright but indirect light. Use tepid water when watering. Indirect light and let dry between. Mist a bit too. So another bathroom one. Isn't that cute? I'll try and write these names on the screen as well for you. And the last one is a snake plant. This is actually James's. So it looks like a crown and James really liked it. And they're really good for EMFs as well near computers, as all plants are, but snake plants particularly. And very easy to keep. Let dry out between watering, indirect light. So that's James's. And look at the little pot for that one. Cute. So I've got 2 in that pot actually. I bought 2. They weren't too expensive, those pots. Little ones. I don't do hauls on here, so it's very unusual that I do that. But I thought specifically in case people were interested in the plant babies. Yes. And that's the little cupboard in case anyone's curious that I got the knobs for. And it needs painting. I got it for about £5. On Facebook Marketplace, and so it's really, really shabby and needs a little bit of renovating, but I just thought it was a cute cupboard and I really like the height of it as well. It's quite a tall one. It's just a bedside cupboard really, but it didn't have any knobs. So do I have them that way up or do I have them that way up? Answers in the comments. I think that way, but they do look like little birds' eggs, don't they? Sweet. And here they are in situ. I've put the little one up there. And then those 2 that prefer a darker, indirect kind of position. They like humidity, so they hopefully should be happy there. Yes, it's a bit echoey in here, isn't it? Very pretty. New babies. Thanks, as always, for keeping me company. We can chat in the comments if you feel like talking. Try, of course, to keep your lights shining as bright as you can. I will if you will. And I will see you really, really soon in the next video. Bye for now.